Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah McIntyre. How are you doing? I wanted to share my story of Spirit Social so far with you today, because even though I have no doubt that this project has been orchestrated in a big way by Spirit, it certainly has not been bump free. When is it ever? And I wanted to talk to you about it and share it all with you. And just, have you guys ever created an app? It is mind blowing. So, where do I want to start? I guess I want to start right at the beginning. And this story begins with, well, where does it begin? For me, I think it begins with whoever of you it was, this is all your fault, who recommended Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic to me. And for those of you that haven't heard that episode and don't know what I'm talking about or haven't read the book, read it. It's brilliant. But in the book, Elizabeth floats the idea that ideas are like, they're almost, to me, in my mind, and I'm not sure exactly how she says it anymore because I've been down a rabbit hole with this energy, but it's almost like their spirit to me. It's like there is an idea's spirit that gives you an idea and it will stay with you, but it will only stay with you for a certain amount of time. And then if it decides that you're actually not going to do it and you're not going to roll with it, then it will go and find somebody who will. And it's almost like there's this whole collection of ideas that they've almost got personalities to me, like they're little fairies or something. And they are all wanting these ideas to come into fruition. But here's the interesting thing, they don't care who does it. It's not that the idea is specifically bestowed upon thee, it's that it goes to you, but then if you don't work with it, it will find someone who does. And I've totally now ruined Elizabeth's beautiful way of putting it, but that's how it is in my head. And so I had that energy and that belief system, and I've been trying to utilize that in smaller ways. And then we've had my journey with social media, which I would say verges on fraudulent, what Meta have done to me. So when I first started my mediumship business many, many years ago, I had already worked as a PA to music school and had some experience of social media from that, had my Home Cooked by Hannah business and had lots of social media experience from that. So I utilized all of that stuff to do my mediumship business. And at the beginning were the golden days. So in the golden days, there was this period of time, especially for me over COVID, because obviously lots of people were at home and watching stuff, where you would post and your audience would see it, and more people than your audience would see it. And you would get more followers, and more followers would see more of your content. And it had this snowball effect. And within that period of time, I also was paying for adverts on Meta, which I had no problem with. I still have no problem with paying a reasonable amount of money to have adverts and be seen. I don't have a problem with that. Then this weird thing happened one day where Meta removed my page from Facebook. And they removed it because I was going live every single day during lockdown. I was getting a lot of followers from that, but I was also paying for adverts. So the growth on my page was exponential. It just skyrocketed. But when we're talking skyrocketed here, we're not talking like going viral. We're talking about going from 1,000 followers to 28,000 followers, which is a lot, but by some accounts these days, that's absolutely nothing. So logically, you would think Meta would have said, okay, we can see that she's paying for ads and she's going live every day, and that combination is working for her growth. But they didn't. They took my page down with no customer service and no one to get hold of. And after crying and being really upset and thinking I'd lost everything, I then managed to find some video on YouTube that had a link where you could contact people for Meta. So I did that and they reinstated my page, but it was a very stressful couple of days. Anyway, we carried on. After that, everything was reasonable. It was okay. And then something has happened, which I know I've talked about on this podcast in the last couple of years, where the wheels of industry have become greedy. And my reach started dropping. And this is exactly what has happened with TikTok. Now, TikTok's done it in a much more reduced period of time, but it's exactly the same thing. So at the beginning, they kind of gave you the golden egg and they say, look, you post, we'll reward you for posting. You want to make our platform great, we'll reward you for it. And then all of a sudden, you're no longer reaching anybody. So on TikTok, I've gone from 5,000 followers, people seeing my posts, to that there's a dreaded around 250 that everyone gets stuck at. 250 people now see my content. Meta's even worse statistically because I have 30,000 followers, but 300 people see my content. And the only way for me to get my content seen is to pay. And this has had an ongoing effect. So it's kind of insidiously creeped in. And what they do is they cover it up by saying that your content's not good enough or you need to post more often. And you end up becoming kind of chained to your device, needing to create content because Meta has told you that they'll give you the crumbs from their table. And this is the thing. I paid for my followers. So my followers should have been seeing my posts. That's how it works, right? They've clicked the button to say they want to see my stuff. So why am I then having to pay again for the people that have clicked that button to see my stuff? I started getting messages from people saying, I haven't seen you on, are you still online? Yeah. And as you know, I'm unable to demonstrate. I'm unable to demonstrate because I cannot get my events out in front of people without paying ridiculous amounts of money. And I mean ridiculous. It's too greedy. So we've got all that kind of bubbling away. And I'm teaching students who are launching their spiritual businesses. And as I'm teaching them, I don't no longer know what to say to them. Because it used to be that if you got people to comment, more people would see your posts. But that seems to have changed now. And if you do reels, then more people will see your posts. But now it's not just that. It's now if you also do this, more people. And nobody really knows what it is they want from you anymore. And it's just become like a quagmire. And all of the stuff that is getting out there is sensationalist and is no longer quality social media. I mean, we always had a bit of crap. Well, we didn't mind that. We suffered that for the good stuff. So we're there. And I'm walking my dogs, having a rant in my mind, like I just had there, of how unfair this situation is and how ridiculous it is. And it's daylight robbery. And they've basically stolen from me. Ranty, ranty, rant. And as always, Spirit, utilize my annoyance. I swear they get me more annoyed. They keep like needling me from the spirit world until I go, oh, okay, I'll do it then. And that is essentially what happened. I am lucky. Oh, am I lucky? I don't know what I am. My book did reasonably well. Well, it did well for a self-published book. And I remember saying to Amanda, I wonder what this money's for, because I finally earned some money in my business. And, I've been in my business for a long time and I finally have earned some money. I wonder what it's for. And then I'm on this dog walk and I'm thinking, oh God, I wish there was a social media for spiritual people that runs like social media used to. And the idea for Spirit Social is there. And I can feel it as an idea, like an energy that I have to work with. There's some sort of inevitability about the energy of this. This is how it feels to me. Like I have the idea but it's a foregone conclusion. I'm already in. I'm already there. I'm already there. I can't explain it to you. I hope it makes sense. There's just this weird, almost out of body inevitability. Like it was always there and I was always going to do it. And there it is. And so I go, oh, wow. Okay, I've got no idea how to make an app. Like none. I'm pretty good with tech in a kind of Excel spreadsheet formula kind of way. I've done my own website. As you know from the sound quality of this podcast, I record my own podcast. So I'm like, okay. And then I have a meeting with some of my students and I just say, this has come in as an idea. What do you guys think? And two of my students have connections to people that run app creation companies. Like, what are the odds? And one of them, her husband, writes me the most amazing email with all this information and tips, which I will forever be grateful for. And the other one introduces me to her sister, who runs the app development company that I've ended up using. It's again foregone. It's just like, yeah, here's the perfect people for you. Ease. But don't let that lull you into a false sense of security because I'm naive. I have no idea how it works. Now, here's an interesting fact for you that you may already know. But did you know it is not just one app that you have? It's two completely separate and different apps for Android and for iOS. So when you create an app, you have to pay twice for two apps. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And maybe you did. Maybe you're like, well, duh, I didn't know this. So this has been this. So then I have this kind of amazingly fun time because if there's anything I like, it's being creative, thinking about what I'm going to do, planning, spreadsheets, notebooks, ideas. There's no shortage from me of ideas for Spirit Social. I'll tell you what, there is a shortage of money. It's all gone and extra, literally nothing. So we have this kind of, I have a chat, they start the work, we know, and then I have to learn to speak developer, which is a completely new language. I thought it was hard learning to speak French as I have been. This is really much harder because you cannot take anything as a given. So you can't say, I want a social media, and they will understand what that means to you. You have to learn to spell out everything. For example, I think we're at the first stages of me having a downloadable app that I can work with and play with. And I log in as a business and I say, where's my news feed? And they say, what? And I say, where's my news feed? I can't see anyone else's posts. And they say, well, we didn't know you wanted to see anyone else's posts. And I say, but it's a social media. Social. I can't be social if I can't see anyone else. And they go, oh, well, that's going to take some time. That's going to cost more. And so on and so forth. So it's been like this, a real learning journey, learning to be really crystal clear about what I want, and them learning to have to put up with me and the fact that I don't understand anything. I really don't. And working through that. And somehow we've managed to kind of get it to the first phase with people on it, which has been perfectly imperfect. Let's put it that way. We find new bugs all the time, which is why I gave 6 months free if you signed up in the first 2 months, because we knew it was going to be like this. You need some sort of payoff for frustration. So most people can now access the app. There has been some weird glitch where not everybody can, and we're having to add you on manually. It's fun. But generally speaking, everybody can get on, and the community started, people are posting. I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing it come to life, my little baby, and people using it. And at the moment, it's like old school Facebook. It's got a very limited event section. Sort of think of it like pinning your event to a notice board. That's about as high tech as it is. But we do also have the questions section, which I cannot wait for users to start utilizing, which is a space for going, I had a dream about a butterfly. Anyone know what this means? Or anyone got any tips for getting communication with my spirit guides clearer? Or this happened in a reading. What does this mean? Or how do I stop this happening again? Or what are your top tips for running a spiritual business? So we've got this question section, which is going to be a bit like Reddit, I guess, where you can ask your questions and share your information, and everybody on the community can wade in and add their opinions and their ideas. Because as you guys know, it's really important to me that it's not just one voice. That's not how we evolve. We evolve by lots of voices, lots of ideas, lots of different understandings, and expanding it together. So that's really quite cool. That's where we're at the moment. You can follow people. The news feed is coming to life, and for businesses, it is that golden egg. Because if someone follows you, they see all your posts. That's it. No gatekeeping. It's done. It's easy. Now, if they unfollow you because you start to bore them, that's on you. Make sure your quality is good enough. But every follower will see every single one of your posts in the news feed. Guaranteed. No gatekeeping. There's also no ads. There's also, because you've got to pay to be a member, there's no scammers. And this was where I had to really think about how I wanted to formulate the platform, because like TikTok, I love TikTok, but every time I bloody open it, there's someone selling me a 2-piece pajama set or a battery operated fan to wear around my neck, or there's so much crap in TikTok shop. And now, like hair syrup, which I use, who's an oil for your hair, they've got scammers doing scam copies of their hair syrup on TikTok shop, and TikTok shop won't take them off, so you don't even know if you're buying quality stuff from there anymore. It's like an overpriced Poundland. I can't work it out. And so I was thinking about what I wanted from my platform. And what I wanted was calmness, quality, inspiration. And so the payoff for that is it's $2.99 a month. Free for 6 months if you sign up now, but $2.99 a month for a standard user. And what that means is you don't get ads. There are no scammers, because they'd have to input their card details. We'll be able to trace them and report them to the police. So then there is none of that grand tidings, risings, blessings crap. There is no inbox. No one's DMing you anything. Isn't that lovely? No DMs. Bye. We might bring that in if people ask for it in the future, but I personally am grumpy and love not being DM'd for anything. So there's this real kind of aligned feed. And number one, we are not selling your data. Nobody outside of the Spirit Social team knows what you're liking, what you're looking at, what you're watching. Nobody. And I wanted users to feel empowered. So I did create your own algorithm, which is in its very basic baby form right now, but it's going to grow, which is you choose your interests when you sign up. And then eventually there will be this train your algorithm section where you can say, I like that, I didn't like that, I want this, I don't like this, where you teach it what it is that you want to see on your feed, and it responds accordingly. And there is no advert business on earth that can override that. It is pure what you want and how you want to see it. And that's that. So it's empowered. And I think that's really, really good. And I've got a massive bee in my bonnet about legacy pricing, which is an absolute passion of mine. So Member Vault, who host my online school, when I joined them, they were quite new. And I signed up with them, and I've stayed with them for years. And every time they put a price increase, they don't increase my price. They do legacy pricing. And it's always made me feel included by them and supported by them. And I really wanted that for the users of Spirit Social. So for as long as you stay with us, your price will never increase. As we add features and the price to new subscribers goes up, yours will never increase. For businesses, there's a one-off monthly fee, which is more, it's nearly £20 a month. But for that, you will obviously get everything included. You don't have to spend out on ads. That's massive. That's massive. So that's the way we're working it at the moment. And that's the idea. And, businesses can share links, normal users can't. Businesses, obviously, every single one of their posts is seen by all of their followers. Plus, I have got big, you know me, I'm big on spiritual business. I've got big plans for business. So that's where we're at. And now at the moment, we're just adding on our first of the new features, which we're working towards daily card readings. And this is going to be magnificent. So I have created a Spirit Social deck of over 200 cards and the associated readings. And what you will be able to do is log on and get a card of the day, personalized. There's 3 for you to pick on. You click on it, you get your message for the day, and you'll be able to save it to a journal with any thoughts. And then, if that card really unfolds for you throughout the day, then you'll be able to use it, etc, etc, etc. So that, I think, is going to be a really cool and fun feature, which is coming hopefully in the next month. I'm not going to guarantee it. I've learnt my lesson with turnaround times, as you will know. And then we've got more stuff coming. So then after that, we've got enhanced notifications, some of the technical stuff that needs to be improved that we're aware of. Then we get into events overhaul with, being able to get reminders for events and things like that. Spirit Social exclusive events, more easy to find, stuff like that. And then we're on for online courses. So at the moment, all my lovely creators are doing live events, live free events on Spirit Social, which are phenomenal. And we will be continuing with, because it's an amazing community that we're building already. But there will be online courses and things that you can watch at your own leisure, some of them included with your membership. So that's kind of where we're heading. And then I've got so many ideas: podcast, book club, oracle cards of the week deck. I want to be able to have an online booking system for all the businesses, so if they've got readings availability, people can just go and see who's free on Wednesday at 10 and pick from that with reviews. So many things that I want to do. I've barely scratched the surface, but we have started, and that is the main thing. Now, as I said, oh my God, the timings for this thing. I've learnt that it's a bit like dealing with builders. You have to just accept that they give you a timing, but they don't mean it. So there was this really weird phase where I just kept pulling the same sodding card. And the card was rethink your thoughts, negative thoughts manifesting into real challenges. And I pulled that buggering card, I don't know, 20 times. And I was like, get in the bin. And I was really trying to be like, okay, this is law of attraction. You're going to be holding it up by looking at the lack of it, really gaslighting myself. And then eventually I just got really fed up and had a meeting with the developers. And I just said, what's going on with this bug? What's going on with this bug? And they all went, And within 24 hours, all of the bugs had been fixed, and it was just that the person who was working on them was basically ignoring them. Fun. And when I turned to Spirit and said, so it wasn't my negative thoughts, they were like, well, it was, because you were being too nice in the meetings. You were being too people pleasy, and you weren't saying to them, I'm the boss, I want this done, here's my expectations. You were going, oh, okay, thank you. So we had to teach you. And doesn't that just sum up working with spirit? That you just keep pulling this card that you think you know what it means, but you have no bloody idea. Because actually, when the true message reveals itself in your life, it's you go, oh, it's so bloody obvious. And spirit are like, yeah, yeah, it is. Where have you been the whole time? So that was funny. I'm sure you know that feeling well. So that's where we're at, really. And I just keep daydreaming about when it's really out there and really getting some traction, and the people we're going to help and the community we're going to build. It's really, really exciting times. So yeah, there is my story of kind of woe, but also excitement. And just, isn't it always that way? You think that, spirit give you this idea and they want you on the team. And they do, but they will utilize it as an opportunity to teach you and shape you and mold you and shift you into who you need to be. It's not a case of just going, oh, that's a good idea, and rocking up with it. It's a case of unfolding into it, which isn't always comfortable, and you can't rush. And my God, has this been a test for my workaholic? I mean, I never miss a deadline. I'll work through the night. I'm self-employed. When you're dealing with a bunch of employed developers who clock off at the end of the day and they're like, right, we're gone, bye. It's such a interesting energy to be in, and so out of your control. So I've really been schooled in surrender and keeping my peace in difficult and annoying and challenging times. It's been my poor Capricorn has taken a beating. I cannot deny it. So there we are. We're there. We're live. We're doing it. And that's all we can do, isn't it? So, yeah, I hope you think it's a good idea. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback. Let me know if you're on there. I would love to see you, say hi, and I will catch up with you all again soon. Have a good one, guys.